Hello, and welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles, where today it is our agenda to tackle a New York Times hard Sudoku puzzle. So if you've not noticed, we've had a little mini series where I've chosen a day, August 23rd of 2025, to do the easy, the medium, and the hard from New York Times and talk about the techniques that become additionally necessary to think about in each of these puzzles. Okay. Now, I will say that when it comes to most of the Sudoku puzzles we do around this channel, usually those are variant Sudoku puzzles, really those tend to only involve Sudoku at the medium New York Times level. You're going to see there's some stuff. I don't know exactly what's going to be involved in today's because I haven't done it yet, but there will be some moderately psychotic stuff to spot in New York Times hard puzzles that I'll say sometimes I find fun and sometimes I don't. So I tend to do New York Times puzzles more out of or New York Times hard puzzles more just sort of for practice with scanning than because I find them to be joyous unto themselves. I actually had a lot of fun with the medium. I think the medium is actually quite fun and be great practice, but I wanted to at least go over one of these. Anyway, if you enjoy this series of me going over each of these from a day, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do this again at some point. I will also say, though, that as far as New York Times hard puzzles specifically, ranks, and there'll be a link to this down below, does every day's New York Times hard on video and goes over all of the techniques involved in doing so. So I would definitely encourage you, if you're interested, to have a look at his video series where he does that. Because if you want to just make it a little pact with yourself that you're going to do the New York Times hard puzzle every day, then you can always check if you get stuck. My usual habit is that I'll do the New York Times hard Sudoku puzzle, and if I find some way of doing it that's sort of heinous, I'll look and see if he did it the same heinous way I did or if he saw something better. But they're an excellent resource to have. All right, so let's have a look here. So just like all the previous ones, I think it's perfectly reasonable to start by looking sort of digit by digit and see if you see anything. But one thing that I see right away is that the 1 is going into one of these cells. And when I'm doing that, I also notice that actually 3 goes into the same cells. So whereas in the previous video, I would have said, okay, put a 1 here, then put a 3 here. Here I'm actually going to jump just to that these two cells are a 1 and a 3. And it's useful to scan for that because that's the kind of thing that shows up, again, a lot in New York Times puzzles. So that's called a hidden pair. Namely, I ask myself, where in box 2 do 1 and 3 go? And I got 2 answers for 2 digits, so therefore these 2 cells are these 2 digits. That's the kind of thing that you're looking for. Okay, so let's see. I saw that thing with the 1. Let's see, I see 1 over there. I'm not going to mark that yet. Okay, so 2s now. I see one of these 2 as a 2. I see one of these 2 as a 2. That doesn't look great. What about 3s? Okay, we already handled that 3 up there. This 3 has still got a lot of flexibility. That 3 has still got a lot of flexibility. This 4 tells me that one of these 2 is a 4. Okay, this 5 is the only 5. But it does at least tell me that one of these 2 is a 5, although, as I've previously mentioned, this sort of diagonally corner-marked digit is not particularly appealing. About a 6. I see that one of these 2 is a 6. Yep, that's about it. 7. Well, 7 is nice because I at least see that that digit's a 7. It's the only place that 7 can go within its box. 8. Don't see much out of that. 9. don't see a lot out of that either. Okay, so let me point out another thing, which is something I saw when I was scanning for 2s, but I didn't point out at the time. So I clicked these 2s, and you might actually notice this row is quite cramped in terms of where the digits in it are going to go. The 2 in particular actually can only go in one of these 2 cells. Okay, and notice when I say this, I'm not talking about the 2 in a box, which is what we've usually talked about in the easy and medium. I'm talking about the 2 in row 4. It is ruled out of all of the cells that have a given digit, of course. It's also ruled out of this cell because of that given 2, and that cell because of that given 2. So the 2 in the row is in one of these 2 places, which in fact means the 2 in this box is in one of these 2 places. And that actually gives me a 2 that sort of looks across and actually places this 2 here. Now, you might say it already did that before. If I'd actually looked at it more carefully, that 2 and that 2 together actually did place this 2, but I didn't notice it before, but I noticed it then. Okay, so does that get me somewhere? That is a great question. I don't know that it does. Okay, so you can do a quick sort of rescan of, okay, is there anything that I really want to point out about any of these digits that's now sort of leapt out at me that I didn't see before, involving geometry of boxes, that sort of thing. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there's literally 1 5 in the entire grid. We've got some 6s corner marked over here, 7s, 8s, and 9s. Okay, and I don't see anything else loudly leaping out at me as I do that. Okay, so if that's the case, a thing that can be useful to do is to look at crowded rows, columns, and boxes. And so let me clarify, by crowded, usually I mean that have at least 5 things in them. And so when you see those, you might consider center marking them. So for example, this box has 5 digits in it. So that means even if nothing else happens, there's only 4 possibilities for these. Now, 4 is a lot, but we can go ahead and fill in what those 4 are, because they could be 1, not 2, 3, 4, not 5, 6, not 7. They could be 8. And now you, of course, hope to see lots of red digits pop up. And in fact, actually, when we did that, what we actually saw here is that this digit can only be 6. And so we can fill it in, it's a 6. So in fact, this digit, once I do that, what I've actually identified is that this is a naked 6. 6 is the only digit that can go here. So that is a 6. It is also worth noting, by the way, there's a different way to see this that is very New York Times Hard Sudoku-y, which is to say, I could ask myself simultaneously, where do the digits 1, 4, and 8 go in box 4? And in fact, the 1, 4, and the 8 don't have anything in common with these digits, so it can't go on top of those. So the 1, 4, and the 8 can only go here. And so this is actually a hidden triple of 1, 4, 8. And so once you realize that, then this digit is only able to be 6. So you end up in the same place regardless. But that's a sort of thing that you can look at. And now this 6 rules 6 out of that cell, and so I can place a 6 there. And so now I've got some more action going on 6s. This row now also only has 3 digits left in it, so I might go ahead and fill them in. They seem to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, sorry, not 6. 7 and not 8 or 9. Okay. 2, 5, or 6. Sorry. I said 6, but there's a 6 over there. Okay, this one's only 5 or 7. These are 2, 5, or 7. I don't necessarily see anything leaping at me loudly from there. Okay. So there are a couple other rows or columns where I have 5 digits. So this is another one, this box, where I still need to place a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 7. We've got an 8 and we need a 9. And so I can go ahead and write those in. And notice if you've got any corner marks, you should pay attention and make sure that you actually eliminate the things that the corner marks tell you that you're allowed to eliminate, because otherwise you might just write this in and it might not do very much. Now, of course, lots of the times you're going to write this in and it's not going to do very much anyway. Okay, what about this column also? If I write it in, let's see, we've got still a 1 to place, 2, 3, 4, a 5. We've got the 6. We need a 7, and then we've got an 8 and a 9. Okay, so if I, oops, I hit the wrong buttons. 4 and a 7. This is a 1 or a 5. End up with stuff like that. Okay. No more hidden singles there for us. What about this column? Well, this column, we've got the 1, 3, 9, 8, and 4. So remaining, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So in this column, and this would have been a smart one to start with, by the way, if you sort of metagame it a little bit, because of the reason that our original deduction was about this 1, 3 hidden pair, which let us sort of realize that we actually only have 4 digits to fill in here. But what we learned from doing that is that, in fact, of the digits left in this column, the only one that this can be is a 7. And so that means this cell in general. If I'd have just randomly asked the question, what could this cell be? I would have realized the answer is, well, it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9. So it would have to be a 7. Usually we write in 3 or 4 cells at once like this because generally I'm not in the business of picking a random cell in a grid and asking what digits it can be. You can do that if you like, but I don't recommend it. But it's actually huge now that we found that this is a 7. Because if you look over now, that actually makes this. And so here's the nice thing about having sort of center marked these before is it didn't really do anything for us at the time. It was just sort of like, oh yeah, that's nice, I guess. But now I know this is a 7. So I know immediately it's a 1, and now this is a 9, and now this is a 5, and that's a 7. And now this is a 6. Oh, that's a 5. And so we get all of that. I can get rid of my corner marks because this is now just a clean 2-5 pair. It's a clean 4-7 pair, like that. This is not a 1, apparently. Yeah. Okay, so that means that this row, what I'm missing is a 4 and an 8. And in this box, I have only 3 things left if I want to fill those in. So we've got the 1, the 2, the 3. We need the 4. Notice I need the 4, but not the 5, because I only have 1 cell labeled 4, 8. So this isn't a pair as far as this box is concerned. This is just one of 4 or 8. Neither of these is a 5, because that's a 2-5 pair. There's 6, 7, 8, and 9 are these digits. Okay. That did not immediately yield spectacular results. Okay, let's see. Well, we did get a whole bunch of damage done over here. So you might actually now say, okay, so now let's look at this column, where lots of good things happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and so let's see. This can't be an 8 or a 9. This can't be a 9. even just based on those. Let's see, this can't be a 5 or a 9. Apparently that can't be a 5. Okay, and so one thing that might not be immediately apparent from this is that, in fact, if I take the time to ask about 9s again, just going back even to the style of what we did in the easy puzzle, the 9's actually placed here within this box. If I just double click the 9's, you'll see they give me this U shape that rule it out of every place but there. So that cell's a 9. You might or might not just periodically do that and try it. But if you don't, you might also notice that these cells, once you've pencil marked them, are what we call a 358 triple. It's technically a naked triple, but usually when people say triple, they mean naked triple. And so that's because this is 3 cells in the same row, column, or box, in this case in the same column, that have 3 possible values, which are 3, 5, and 8. And so these must be 3, 5, and 8 in some order, meaning that this cell can't be 3 or 8, because if this cell was 3 or 8, I would have, here's a way to think about it, 4 cells in this column whose values were 3, 5, or 8, which would mean I had to repeat a digit out of 3, 5, or 8, and I can't do that. And so therefore, this is a 9. So really, there's 2 ways I'm telling you to see that this cell is a 9, one of which is that it's a hidden 9 in box 3, and the other of which is that there is a triple in this column, which rules 3 and 8 out of this and makes this a 9. So makes it a naked 9, really. So whichever way you would like is a perfectly reasonable way to go about that. Let's see. Okay, so having noticed that 9, though, it's now probably, and by probably, I mean certainly in this instance, worth asking, okay, if I double-click 9s, do I see anything? And so the thing I see is that now the 9's actually placed over here. And so now I've got a 9 in one of these 2 cells. Let's see. I certainly can fill in this triple. Let's see, but I want to check digits again a little bit. Let's see. So the 5 actually is now in one of these 2 cells within this box. So I got a 5 looking across and a 5 looking up. And those 2 look down with that 5 to tell me that one of these 2 is definitely a 5. Okay, let's see. I don't think I know much more about 1s. 2s. 3s. 4s. Do I even have a 4? Yeah, I do have a 4. I do know about this 4-7 pair, which might be useful, although I don't think it presently is useful. 5s. Let's see, some 6s. 7s. 8s. 9s. Okay. So let's go back and let's sort of fill this in. So this is sort of I recommend bounce back and forth between these 2 modes of like looking at digits and where they can go and looking at cells and what they can be. So basically bounce back and forth between looking for hidden stuff and naked stuff. So these can be 1, but not 2, 3, but not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but not 9. Okay, so that looks like it was more or less completely useless, I think. Yeah, I don't think that was useful. Okay, so and this will eventually happen. Oh, I guess we can mark these 2, because within this box, we've got a 6-1-9 and a 4-7 pair. So these can be 2, 3, not 4, 5, not 6, not 7, and 8. So we can say, so this is not 3 or 5. This one's not 5. And so we can look at these. I don't think that's super interesting. What about this row? Let's see. We've got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is what's left. So no 8 there, no 5 or 8 there, no 2 there. And there's nothing magical, by the way, about my saying that I usually only pencil mark it if there's 4 or fewer values. It's just that, of course, the more values that it could potentially have, the less likely it is that it's going to do anything interesting for you, is basically all I am saying with that. Let's see. So now I'm looking to see if there's some digits that show up somewhere interesting that I might be interested in asking about where they go. Okay. What I'm perhaps interested in is what these digits can be. In this row, I have 4 values, but I also have a pair in this box, so there's actually only sort of 3 values these can be, and I might as well fill in this because it's not going to be that much more work, although it's probably not going to be useful. So these can be from 1, not 2, 3, not 4, 5 or 6 or 7, but not 8 or 9. And so these, in fact, can't even be 1, 3 because of the way we sort of made it. That's not a 7. It doesn't instantly feel like we got somewhere from that. Let's see. Do I see anything where I'm willing to be more, we'll say, generous with my pencil marking relating to digits? Threes. Oh. Well, here's the thing that I should have noticed that will, in fact, be quite useful. I just re-noticed my 5 corner mark here and my 5 corner mark here. But the thing I was supposed to notice with the 5 corner mark is that when I filled in this row, I didn't actually take into account the corner mark, because this cell I have marked as being able to be 5 because it doesn't see 5 in its row or column, but it in fact sees a 5 corner mark in its column and its box. So this digit definitely can't be 5. And just to remind you of why that is, again, when we sort of highlighted the digit 5, we saw that the 5 within this box, box 1, had to go in one of these 2 cells, and both of those see here. So this can't actually be 5. And just like with the 9 before it, that places the 5 in this row, because we've got either a 2, 6, 8 triple, that is, these 3 cells each come from 2, 6, and 8, and so therefore they need to be 2, 6, and 8 in some order, so this one can't be 2 or 6, so it has to be 5. Or that means the only place to put 5 in this row now is here. Whichever way you would like, that works. And so that's going to do a lot of damage, because that 5 there is going to place a 2 there, which is going to, by my corner mark, place a 2 here. Which is going to give me the 6 and the 8 over here. The 2 looks up and gives me a 5 and a 2 over here. That 2 looks up and gives me the 2 up here by corner mark. Okay. And so the one advantage, pencil marking tends to be a little bit time consuming, but it does tend to make the sort of the end part of the puzzle a little bit faster. Okay, what about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are from 6, 7, 8, and 9, just to fill in the rest of this box. That one's not a 6. Okay, so one of these two is a 6 for whatever that is worth. Probably not much. Let's see. We placed all the 2s now? No, we've placed all but 1 2 now. Which is very useful because the last 2 goes here, which is on top of a 9 corner mark. So it places a 9 as well, which then places the 9 in this box. And these are now a 6 7 pair looking over at a 4 and a 7. This box now has only 1 spot for 9, or in the same way I keep saying, it has a 4 8 pair, so this is a 9. Different people find different of those things easier to scan for, so whichever works for you. This column I see has a 6 7 pair, so the things left are 4 and 8. So this is the other 4 8. Those are the 2 4 8s together. I would have thought the 6 7 pair would be more useful. Anyway, I will fill in the rest of this row because I have a 2, a 4, a 6, a 7, and a 9. So these can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and these aren't 8, of course. So these are from 1, 3, 5. And I'll go ahead and fill in this pair as well. These are from... Oh, by the way, this one's not 5 because of the corner mark. See above. Remember, there's a 5 corner mark looking down, so this isn't a 5. I should look at those and fill that out before I continue. This row, if I look at it, it's got a 1 and a 2. It's missing a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and that one's not a 5 again because of the corner mark. Okay, and so now... what I have is a 1, 3, 4 triple in the column. Again, 3 cells whose values are from 1, 3, and 4. So they must be 1, 3, and 4. And so collectively, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9. So in particular, this is not 1 or 3. And that means that what's left in this column is a 5, 6 pair. And that 5, 6 pair is settled by this 6. Okay, so that's... Sorry, so this is a 5, and that's a 6, which makes that a 7 and a 5, makes that a 6 and a 7. No 7 over there. We've got a pair in this column, which includes a 1 and a 4, it looks like. And that means that in this box, we have only 1 digit left, which seems to be a 3. Which is going to sort out the 1 and the 3 over here, the 4 and the 1 over here, the 1, the 8, the 3, the 7, the 3, the 5, and the 8, the 1, the 5, the 4, and the 3, the 4, the 8, and the 1, the 4, and the 8, and the 4. And now we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this is an 8. Alrighty, and there is the New York Times Hard for you. So you'll see you have to fill in center marks much more aggressively. Again, usually if I have nothing better to do, I'll fill in 4 values. And sometimes you'll find sort of random naked singles. You should look for sort of where collections of digits go and look for hidden pairs and hidden triples and that sort of thing. And this will really sort of test you at looking for pairs and triples as you sort of slowly pencil mark the grid. Still, all the same techniques apply of sort of looking digit by digit and then looking cell by cell, but you end up having to do a little bit more sort of muscle work. Okay. I will say it's not that the hard puzzle really requires particularly advanced Sudoku logic. It's that it tends to involve very random Sudoku logic. So it's not always clear where to look when you're looking for the next step. And that's because all of the New York Times puzzles are computer generated rather than human generated. So if you're used to doing most of the puzzles around this channel, the majority of the puzzles around this channel are human generated, which means that you can sort of have a mind meld with the person who made the puzzle and sort of follow a sort of set series of logic, and hopefully you're sort of naturally inclined to think about the right next thing. That's just not going to happen with computer-generated puzzles, and so you're going to sort of bounce around, and so you see I like bounce around through the digits and bounce around through the cells and sort of do things and find things, and that has a fun of its own, but it's quite distinct from other things. And if you had a human crafted puzzle that had a flow like one of these, probably it would not be very well received by a lot of the people who do human generated puzzles. So you can keep that in mind as you think about this. We'll be back next time with more puzzles, probably not New York Times puzzles. But again, let me know if you enjoyed this series, and maybe we'll do it again at some point. But thanks for watching. Bye for now.